Well, good evening, everybody. Ron Wheeler here. I want to welcome all of you to our presentation tonight. It is called the Options Paycheck Experience, and most importantly, how to generate 3% per month with as little as one option trade per week. It's going to be a great webinar, so I'm excited to share these income opportunity ideas with you. So hopefully, you're excited to be here as well. I started the room just a couple of minutes early. That way I can test all the technology and make sure the room's working and the microphones are all working and the screen is working and all that kind of stuff. So do me a favor. If you can see the screen, it should say on air. If you can see that, if you can hear my voice, just real quick in the chat window in the lower right-hand corner, just give me a real quick shout out. Let me know that you can hear me. That way I know that everything is working properly. That would be helpful. All right, I see Ray. Yep, you jumped in there right off the bat. Let's take a look here. I'm trying to open it up here so I can see all the comments. Maybe I'll get to see all the comments. I don't know. All right, there we go. Ray and Andrew and Michael and John and Dennis. All right, cool. And another John M this time. All right, good. Looks like the first numbers are coming in there. It's a little bit early, so I know we'll be having a lot more people trickle in. So as you trickle in, if you can hear me, I can see Ben and Bruce and Chad. If you can hear me, just go ahead and type a Y or yes into the chat window. That way I know that everything is working and we will be good to go. And do me a favor, while you are typing in that you can hear me, hopefully you can, also let me know what time it is by you. I'm curious, where are we broadcasting out to? I'm in Ohio, just south of Cleveland, a little bit west of Akron. I was born and raised here. I work for VectorVest Akron office. We have two offices, one in Akron and one in North Carolina. My colleagues that are here with me tonight work down in North Carolina. I'm the only Ohio guy that you'll be hearing from today, but it's 5:57 here. So like I said, just kind of wondering what time it is by you guys and where we're broadcasting out to. 7 p.m. Toronto, Comlesh. Ray, 5 p.m. in Texas. I see Mike, you are in East Coast as well. You're at 5:57. I see a couple more 5:57s. Oh, one from Australia. Nice. Well, thank you for being up this early. I guess I could say, or up this late. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly if it's up early or staying late. Hard to say, right? All right, good deal. 6 p.m. Or up. Sorry, come on, 6 p.m. And then move from Columbus to Tucson, 4 p.m. Yeah, I would say you like it there. You probably wouldn't like all the snow we're having here for sure. You're probably happy to get out of all that. Of course, Columbus doesn't get quite as much as northeastern Ohio, but still, probably like to be out of that cold weather. Now, speaking of that, what do you do for a living? Are you retired? Do you still work? I'm just curious. When I originally created what you're going to see tonight, my ideal client, if you will, was somebody that was retired that was looking for a low risk strategy to help them create income. Now, I found out through the years that pretty much everybody does this. Now, to be fair, I'm only 47 years old, and this is the really the basis of how I trade my account. So it doesn't matter if you're retired or working. I'm just curious to see what kind of the demographics we got going here tonight. Just gives me a little bit of an idea who's at the class, which is kind of nice to know. All right, I see lots of retired folks. I like that. Quality control technician, awesome. Retired John, retired Ray. Working Chad, how much? 10 years to retire. I like to think I'm about 10 years away. I'm 47. I don't want to work forever. So I haven't decided yet. We'll see what my wife thinks about that. She probably wants to retire first. So a little bit of mix of everything tonight. That's cool. That's cool. So the cool thing, speaking of that's cool, is that it doesn't matter if you're ultimately working or if you're retired. What you're going to see here tonight is a method that I've been using for 15 plus years that's going to help you generate income using options. I think you're going to like it. You're in the right place. So we're going to spend about an hour together tonight, give or take, talking about what the process is, how it works, why you want to do this. And then at the end, if you have any questions, we'll kind of wrap it up as we go. But if you have any questions during the class, I won't be able to take questions during the class because I'll be doing the presentations. But I've got my colleagues here. They're in the back. They're well schooled in the options paycheck experience and how everything works. Feel free to ask them any questions. And then again, at the end, we'll kind of open it up for a Q&A. All right, it is 6 p.m. on the nose here in here on the East Coast time frame. So let's get started. I want to welcome you all to today's webinar. It's called the Options Paycheck Experience. and most importantly, how to generate 3% per month with as little as one option trade per week. Now, the information that I'm going to share with you has not only changed my life, the way I've traded, I've seen it change the lives of so many people over the 8 years that I've offered this program. So I hope you're excited about it as well. In fact, you're going to see how you could begin making a paycheck averaging about 3% per month or even more. Now, keep in mind, this can be done regardless of market direction, bull or bear, doesn't matter. You can do it with little to no prior experience trading options. It's safer than buying and selling stocks, and you can implement this very, very quickly. Now, if I was in your shoes, you might be thinking, well, that sounds too good to be true. Is it legit? You'd want some proof. Well, I would too if I were you. I see those annoying Facebook ads and Instagram and trade crypto and trade Forex and make 4,000%. Listen, it's all BS. I'm not like that. I like to let the results really speak for themselves and let you decide. So here is a snippet of my 2023 trading results. I do these trades live in front of my coaching students. Last year, out of a $100,000 account, I had a $37,000 gain, 37.2%. Okay, that's 3.1% per month. I had 8 winning months and 4 drawdown months. That's real. That's what I did with my coaching students. I actually did a little bit worse in 23 than I did in 22. 22 was like 40 some percent. So these are real results, real trading. Speaking of real trading, I've been teaching again this techniques for like 8 years. One of my recent students sent me this email in December and said, "Hey Ron, just wanted to send a quick email to thank you to your team for the opposite paycheck. I've been using the method and tracking my performance. Thought you'd like to see the results." I entered my first 35 Delta trade on September 21st with only 5,000 in my margin account. Now, less than 3 months later, I'm already up 24%. Thanks again. I'll be teaching this method to my retiree in-laws to help them grow their account in retirement. Listen, I love to hear that. And this is also a lesson for you. You don't need to dedicate $100,000 to this if you don't want to. You can start small, like Carrie did, $5,000 in an account. It builds up quickly. Take a look. If you started with 5,000 bucks and you averaged about 3% per month, compounded over 15 years, that puts you at $1 million. If you started with 25, you'd be near $1 million after 10 years. You're looking at very serious money. Now, clearly, if you have more than 5 or 25,000, you'd get there much, much faster. But you would be amazed on how that compounding return works. Now, some of my clients, like Carrie, were kind enough to share their photo and their results with you, and we're going to talk about a few of them today. These are real people, just like you. So as I teach you the system today and share their stories, pay close attention because you might find you're in a similar position now as they were when they started. Now, my name again is Ron Wheeler. I am the options trading manager here at VectorVest, and I've been trading now for 27 years. When I first started, my first couple of years, I was a commodities trader, and I mostly had losses. In fact, I actually lost a couple of my trading accounts. And the reason why I was losing was because, like a lot of people, you trade in a way that requires you to be right to make money. If I bought something, it had to go up. If I sold something, it had to go down. Bottom line is, if I wasn't right, I would lose money. And I traded like that and became profitable after a while. And I traded commodities probably for about 10 or 12 years and did pretty well at it after my initial stumbling blocks. I didn't really like options. Wasn't an options guy. But a big kind of aha moment came to me when one of our clients, who was actually a hedge fund manager, came to visit our office. And he said, "Hey, I want to show you how we at the institution side trade and make money." Long story short, he showed me the insider secrets to using options so that even if I'm wrong, I could still make money. He flipped my options world upside down. He showed me how to use options in a way that controlled my risk and, more importantly, stacked probability in my favor. It was fantastic. Think of the pressure that takes off you when you don't have to be right to make money. So somewhere along the line, 12, 15 years ago, I transitioned into an options trader using those models and building what you're going to see today. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to generate these types of returns. I'm going to show you case studies and examples of our clients who are doing this. And I'm going to show you the system so that if you learn and follow our strategies, you can do the exact same thing. In fact, stay with me till the end. I put together a little checklist that helps you plan out your trade. It's a PDF. I'm going to drop it right in the handout section. You can click it, print it out today. But do me a favor, remind me when we get to that Q&A, because most of the times after about an hour, I completely forget about it. Okay? All right. Why is this such an important topic? Well, without an income system, that's on you. And that creates a number of problems for us. If we aren't retired, it keeps us stuck in a situation where we have to work in order to live. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finances are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether you'll have enough or if you'll run out of money, that can have a big impact on your life and your health and your relationships. If you're already retired, you might be watching your savings get depleted faster than you can fill it, especially with how much prices have gone up here in the last few years. If things don't improve, you may feel you'll continue to have losses that draw down your account. You're going to get behind on your goals, maybe even question your ability as an investor. You might even fear you'll have to give up on investing and go back to work. Worst case scenario, you'll run out of money during retirement. Now, with a system to help you generate income, things are a lot different. And I think this is probably one of the most important points of the webinar. So pay attention, even write it down. If you want to be financially free, your main need is income. To be financially free, you need to learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. So I'll say it again. In order to become financially free, you need to learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Whether you're still working or you're retired, the ability to have that income is one of the most empowering skill sets you can have, because when you have the ability to generate income from your investments, your life will change. If you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like having a second job. If you're retired, you can have a consistent source of income as if you quit your job, but they kept paying you. It's like a tap you can turn on whenever you want. That's going to allow you to do the things you want to do now and when you retire. When you got a system to help you generate income, it can help you retire younger. So as I said, and I think this is still one of the most important points of the presentation, so I'll say it one more time. When the income from your investments exceeds your living expenses, you become financially free or have the ability to retire. For example, Brian's a client of ours who's a great example of how easy you can become proficient at drawing an income from the market, even if you don't want to invest a lot to begin with. He had some health problems and he needed a way to supplement his income. By using the paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profit starting with just $6,000. He had 100% winning trades in 10 months, 31 of 31. That's using our most basic system. Now, the key point here is this is not beginner's luck. It's the result of following the system. It's that system that helped him get those 100% winning trades and create that $23,000 in profit, starting with just $6,000 in 10 months, safely. So the first thing you need to know to take control of your returns, it's a bit of a strategic mindset shift. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you're going to become an option seller and win more than you lose. Being an option seller is the way that you can make consistent income every month and allow you to win even when you're wrong. Now, the reason you want to be the casino or the house is that, well, number one, the house always wins. Why? Number two, the house always wins because they control and they stack probability in its favor. The options paycheck system is built around you stacking the odds massively in your favor. So make a note of this. If you want to control your returns and results, you have to learn how to stack probability in your favor. And the obvious question is, how do we do it? Well, that first step is that shift from being the buyer of options to being the seller. So let me explain. Bruce, by the way, is a great example of that shift from gambling on stocks to being in the casino and controlling and stacking probability. He said prior to working with us, he's grown his trading account from 100 grand to 497 in 3.5 years. He said he's achieving a 74% win percentage simply by following the rules of the options paycheck system. And he said the whole system takes him around 15 minutes a day. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock that you like, you think it's going to go up, so you either buy shares of it or as an option buyer, you buy a call. Why do you buy a call option? Well, mainly because when you started learning options, it's what you were taught to do. If you think a stock will go up, you buy a call. If you think a stock will go down, you buy a put. But what ends up happening a lot of times? Either the stock doesn't go up or it doesn't go up enough and the call you just bought ends up expiring worthless. Has it ever happened to you? That's the introduction I had to options trading before I really knew what I was doing. Well, what's the problem that's causing you to lose? If you ask, a lot of traders feel like maybe they just picked the wrong stock. Okay, options. Maybe I picked the wrong strike price, or maybe it was the wrong expiration. But let's dive into the real problem here. If you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other systems, it's not your fault. It's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy an option. But as a buyer, the probabilities are not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing and buying and losing and buying and losing. Our options paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. This is how you get ahead of everyone else. This is how you put probability on your side. It's how you can win even if you're wrong. So let's take a closer look at selling options. As a buyer, a typical trade gives you a 50-50 chance to be a winner. Because when you buy, the only way you make money is if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having this buyer's mentality, we're going to have a seller's mentality. So instead of hoping a stock goes up, as a seller, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. Probability will tell you where the stock is not likely to go. So instead of needing the stock just to go in your direction, you can pick a price which says, as long as the stock doesn't go down to here, I can make money. Think about that. You can pick a price down here, and as long as the stock stays above it, you can make money. If the stock goes up, you make money. If it goes sideways, you make money. The stock can even come down a little bit, and you still can make money. Right from the very beginning, probability is in your favor. Now, you can even increase that probability even more in a lot of cases. We can choose a lower price, which gives you a bigger area where you can be right. We do a lot of our trades starting with about a 70% chance of success. And you can only do this as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor. This is the definition of an income trade. I define an income trade as one where you can make money even if you are wrong on direction. Now, Bruce, he continues to trade with me every week. In fact, he recently posted in our private Facebook group and said, another day of trading on the beach. Got my eyes on AMC and a cold beer. Life's good. Thank you, VectorVest and Ron, for giving us the tools to do what we do from anywhere. That's a great picture of financial freedom. Now, Mike was another one of our clients who dabbled with options but said he lost on each trade. Have you ever been there? Can you imagine how frustrating that must be to lose on each of your trades? Well, eventually he just gave it up. He tried to go back and learn more about options, but he said he never felt comfortable. He knew what he was doing. He had all this knowledge, but no set criteria of how to use it to make money. So Mike and I worked together. I taught him the options paycheck system of being an option seller, and he became an income machine. After he learned the system, he immediately went out and said he had 17 out of 19 winning trades with a profit of over 12 grand in 4 months. The key lesson here, all the people I've showed you so far, is that shift from going from buyer or gambler to seller or the house, the casino. That turned their situations around. Now, he was so proud of his success, he actually sent me a copy of his trades. Take a look. Look at the number of profitable trades versus the number of losses. That's pretty typical, right? Work days, 7 days to close, 5 days to close, 7, 7, 10, 7. He's pulling in about $1,000 every 7 to 11 days. The average trade, by the way, takes about 7 to 10 days to work. So this is not day trading or anything like that. These are trades that take a little bit of time, right? I don't want you trading every single day for 4 hours a day. That's not what I want you to do here. These are nice trades that anybody can do. Now, if you're like Mike and a lot of our students, you can start by just trading the SPX, which is the index that tracks the S&P. And that only involves one trade per week, and it's averaged over 4% per month since 2016. The odds are stacked in your favor on these trades. You're not looking for that one big home run trade to become a millionaire overnight. You're growing your account steadily each year. And that's the key takeaway. Home runs look good, but singles are what win the games. These singles are what will enable you to never run out of money and to be able to do the things you want to do. So you've seen by simply flipping from the buyer to the seller, you can stack the odds significantly in your favor. Now we're going to stack the odds even further by understanding and capitalizing on the three most common buyer's mistakes. Mistake number one is that option buyers choose unrealistic strike prices. They choose strike prices that are so far away the stock has no chance of hitting it. Here's a stock. Let's say you're bullish on the stock. A mistake a lot of option buyers make is they buy calls way up above the market, right? Stock's at 216, they buy a 230 call. You're not going to make money unless the stock goes to 230. Well, if that's the case, why do people buy options like this? Well, they're treating it like a lottery ticket. Well, I'll spend 50 bucks on this option and maybe I can make 1,000 bucks. If I only do that 2% of the time, I'll be all right. It's not going to be all right. Lottery tickets lose. Now listen, since there's going to be those people out there buying those options, you may as well be the one who sells it to them. Because when you sell them those low probability options, you have a high probability of winning. And the same goes for puts. There's people who buy puts way below the market, either as a lottery ticket or maybe even cheap insurance. Doesn't really matter why they're doing it. The fact is, there will always be buyers down there. And since there will always be buyers out there who will buy those options, you may as well be the one who sells it to them. Selling these options gives you that 60 to 90% probability of success right from the very start of the trade. Now, the second mistake that buyers make is they choose expiration dates that are simply too close to the current date. It's like going to a grocery store and seeing a discount piece of steak on the rack, right? It's cheap, but if you don't go home and cook it that day, it's going to be worthless and rotten soon. And the same is true for options. Here you see how the number of days to expiration and how an option loses its value. Take a look. We started 180 days to expiration, and the option is slowly losing its value. But something happens right here when you get to about 45 days to expiration. The option starts to decline in value exponentially. And a lot of buyers buy those options out there with less than 45 days to expiration. Well, why do they buy them if there's so little time left? Again, because they're cheaper. It's like buying a lottery ticket. But when you do this, you're stacking probability against you. So instead of buying options in that window, we are going to sell options in that window. Now, to be more specific, the majority of our trades use expirations of 21 to 45 days away. That's really the sweet spot for this. So here's a graph of Home Depot. Most buyers will buy an option with an expiration right here, maybe a month, month and a half away. But that expiration is too close. Notice how the value of the option drops off just because it's getting closer to expiration. This is bad for an option buyer, but you're going to be the option seller. That time decay is going to work in your favor. Remember, there's always people out there buying those options that have expiration dates too close. Let them be the one who, we might as well be the one who sells it to them if they're going to do it. Let them be the gambler. You be the casino. You always win in the end. Now, the third mistake that buyers make is they simply just pay too much. They buy what's called an overpriced option. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is important. Here's two stocks. I want you to look at the top. I want you to notice that both stocks are around the same price, 76 bucks. But even though the two stocks have the same price, look at the different option prices. The one on the left is like $900. The one on the right is $180. Why are they so different? Because the one on the left had very high volatility, and that leads to the option being overpriced. Buyers who buy these options are paying too much. Well, what's the big deal, right? Who cares? I have a $100,000 account, Ron. What's the difference if I spend 900 versus 200? This is what the reason is. Watch what happens when a buyer buys an option that is overpriced like the one on the left. Both stocks go up about $8 a share. They go from 76 to 84. Let's see what happens to the value of the options. Even though both stocks rose, the overpriced option on the left actually lost money. I want you to think about that. The option buyer got the direction right, but still lost. Why did he lose? Because the buyer paid too much. That buyer on the left lost money. The buyer on the right got like a 300% return. You didn't pay attention to volatility. Now, that high volatility gives us as sellers a great opportunity. The more expensive the premium is, the more probability we can add into the trade and the less dollar risk that we have. As the seller, we can be wrong on direction. We can stack probability even more on our side. Now, Bob is one of the most interesting stories I've seen. He said prior to working with us, Bob was making a lot of the mistakes that we talk about here, and it cost him dearly. He said he either ended up broke or bankrupt 3 times, and in his own words, came close to living under a bridge. The options paycheck system helped Bob turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn those mistake liabilities into strategies that controlled and stacked his probability. In 4 months, he grew his account by 71% and achieved a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, folks, in order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to control and stack probability in your favor. Now, let me ask you, in the chat window, I want you to share with me, have any of you ever made those option buyers mistakes? Just give me a quick yes or no in the chat box. All right, Tom, you were first. Yes. I see more yeses. Alex, Michael, Edward, Jim, yes, Bruce. Listen, we've all made those mistakes. Everyone has. You just saw what my first experience with options were. Listen, it's not our fault. We were just taught a broken system. Now, at this point, I'm hoping you like the idea of being an option seller. You've seen how, you can add that probability. Now, let's look at how to trade with very little risk. Because when a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they immediately think it's risky. However, the options paycheck system uses a very low risk strategy for selling options, and this is why it's a core strategy we teach our retirees. Now, why is reducing risk so important? Most people who don't use the options paycheck system aren't preserving their capital. They have had one bad trade wipe out the gains from a bunch of winners. This is the most easy thing to overcome, by the way. It really, really is. I've never had this happen to me in 15 years of option selling. And it's real simple why it's never happened to me. I would never take a trade where it's possible. The cool thing about these option strategies are you know the risks up front. If you see a trade and the trade is, I can make $1,000 but lose 15, that's your first clue that you shouldn't take that trade, okay? So you know this up front. Don't take trades where that's possible. Because if you do, you suffer large losses, and it's very hard and takes a long time to recover. But when you do this right, with the right system in place, you're going to take care of risk management before you even open the trade. When you can confidently select stocks and set up your trade in a way that reduces risk, it allows you to preserve and grow your capital. Now, like I said earlier, those home runs look good, but those singles are what wins the game. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, can I trade this in an IRA? A client of ours, John, grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using our options paycheck system. He said he tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system, and he turned those inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. In 12 months, he enjoyed 85% winning trades, and he said he more than doubled the size of his IRA while spending no more than 15 minutes per day on his trading. Now, the options paycheck system makes sure you reduce your risk before you even open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are rising in price, similar to what you would see here. Then, instead of selling naked, we're going to sell with protection. So let me show you how to do that. Traditional option selling systems leave you with all of this risk down here. The options paycheck system shrinks your risk to just this. So let me show you how this works. This is a graph of a typical stock we'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph, so it's understandable to be bullish on a stock that looks like this. Traditionally, people would go out and buy the stock here. They may even buy a call and use that as the strike price. But remember, you're not the buyer anymore, you're the seller. So you're going to do this. You are going to go underneath the stock and you are going to sell a put. When you sell a put, you receive premium, you get paid. So for example, this put sells for 200 bucks. If you sold 10 of those puts, you would get paid $2,000. And that sounds great, right? Problem is, you have no downside protection. So if you've never sold an option before, let me spend a couple minutes here and explain how this works. Option selling, the best description I could give you for this, that's not really a trading thing, is when you buy an insurance policy, right? You buy car insurance. And every 6 months, you pay the car insurance company 2,000 bucks. Now, for the 6 months that you paid for, they have to protect your assets. If you have a claim, they have to pay out. But if you have no claims, they keep your premium, your policy expires, and then 6 months later, you do the exact same thing. Selling an option is very, very similar. When I sell a put, I am selling a contract that says I am obligated possibly to buy the stock for whatever strike price I sold by the expiration date of this option. I may be called upon to do this. So if all of a sudden this $137 stock drops to 100, you may be called upon to buy the stock at 135. You now have one bad trade that wiped out a bunch of winners. Not good for you. What we need to do is reduce that risk down to here. And the way we do that is we buy insurance. When we sell the option in the same trade, we are going to buy a put as insurance. This is going to protect me. So that insurance policy, of course, like anything else, does cost a little bit of money. It's going to cost me 100 bucks. But I sold the option for 200. I'm going to use half of that for my insurance, but I'm still going to get paid $100 for placing that trade. If I did it on 10 contracts, I would get paid 1,000 bucks. And that's going to be my maximum profit that I can now make on this trade. Now, with this insurance policy, let's say the stock drops to $100. You are forced to buy the stock at 135. That insurance put allows you to turn around and sell that stock to somebody else for 130. You've now limited your risk to only $5. That's it. Now, let me also make another point. In 15 years of option selling, I've never actually done that. I've never had to. I've never been forced to buy or sell stocks. It's just never happened. I do these trades 100% using options. I don't own stock. I don't sell stock. Don't buy stock. It's all an options trade. Okay? Now, think about what this trade has done for you. You think the stock will go up. If it does, you win. Remember that time decay graph where in the last 45 days of an option's life, the value gets lower and lower? That's how you make money. The options are decaying in value as the stock moves in your direction fast. If the stock goes sideways, it doesn't matter. The options are still decaying. That policy, that premium is starting to decline. Even if the stock goes down, same thing. Now, as long as the stock stays above 135, we still have the opportunity to make money. And if the stock goes below 135, we are going to exit the trade and take a small proportional loss. For those of you that are thinking about expiration, we don't take these trades to expiration, by the way. We never do that. We exit at a predetermined profit target, and we would exit with a loss if the stock goes down too far. Now, a lot of people that are newer to options trading, just think about this. People get confused on options, right? If you bought 1,000 shares of this stock and you watched it go down from 138 to 135, and you're like, you know what, Ron? This isn't going the right way. I'm just going to go exit my stock trade and sell the stock back. That's a thing that pretty much everybody can understand to do, right? You exit your stock trade because it's going against you. Option spreads are the exact same thing. You can exit them when they're profitable before expiration. You can exit them at a loss before expiration. That's the beautiful thing here. Okay? Now, what I want to do and set up a couple trades. I showed you my results from 2023. I want to show you just a couple of trades that I took last year to give you an idea of how this works. So I'm going to be showing you some numbers now, so you'll definitely need to be paying attention. First and foremost, what we do when the market is bullish, we only place bullish trades. Okay, that's it. Now, quick tip, we're going to sell options that give us at least a 60% chance of winning. So let me show you how this works. This is PHM. It's in a very nice uptrend. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. We're going to sell an option 21 to 45 days away. That's what that red line is right there. Okay? Now, if you've never sold an option before and you never tried this, when you go inside your broker or you go inside an application like Options Pro, pretty much every major broker has a probability calculator, or they'll just give you the probability of the options right in the option chain. So when I go look there and I want to sell a put right now, right? I go to my option chain and I see that if I sell a $75 put, that put has a 56% chance of being out of the money. That means there's a 56% chance of this stock, which is at $76, stays above $75 by the time we get to that red line. If I go a little bit lower at $73, I have a 73% chance of staying above $73 by expiration. If I go all the way down to $70, I have a 91% chance of staying above that to expiration. Now, let me ask you a question. Which one of those would you pick as an option seller? Which one do you like? Let me know in the chat window. Which one of those do you like? All right, I see some B's, I see some C's, I see some other B, Tom and Ron and Gary and Bruce, C, Raj. All right, another B, Chad. All right, I see a lot of you guys picking B and C. I like it. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. I like C, to be completely honest with you. Who the heck wouldn't like a 91% probability to be profitable? I sure would. I wouldn't pass that up. Here's the problem. 91% probability trades, those are those one trades that wipe out a bunch of winners. That 91% probability has maybe $1,000 in potential profits, but like a $12,000 loss. So 9 trades out of 10, you may make 9 grand. But that one losing trade, you're going to lose all of your gains and be at a loss. 91% sounds good, but it's just not workable. 73% is pretty much right in that sweet spot. We're going to try to find options in that 60 to 70% range. Something magical happens around that point. You're going to get the odds in your favor. That's critical. But you're also going to get that perfect combination of risk and reward. Now, if you remember the 2023 results that I showed you in the beginning, you would see that my average winning trade was about $1,000 and my average losing trade was about $1,000. That's what I want to see in a perfect world. So I chose B, a $73 price. Now, this is done as one trade and it's called a bull put spread. Aptly named, by the way. It's bullish, hence we want the stock to go up. Puts, because we're using puts, we're going to sell a $73 put and buy a 70 in one transaction. Spread, because it's done at 2 different strike prices. Okay? Now, if everything works out right, the stock goes up and we make our money. How do we make our money? Because the options decline in value. We enter the trade and we get paid. We exit the trade and we pay the broker back. In this case, I kept $876 of the credit that I received when I first opened the trade. Now, when the market is bearish, we actually go out there and place bearish trades. Okay? This is an example of a bearish trade I did last year. I did bullish and bearish last year. As you guys know, the market was up overall last year, right? But there was times throughout the year I had to go bullish and there were times I had to go bearish. This is Target. A lot of bad news about Target in the news events last year. It was going down, broke below previous low, looked like a really good opportunity. You win if target stays below the strike price that we pick prior to the expiration date in red. Now, let me ask you a question on this one. Which one would you pick? We have a 64% chance of staying below 135, a 76% chance of staying below 140, or a 85% chance of staying below 145. What do you guys think? Type in the chat, A, B, or C. Let me know what you're thinking. All right. I see some B's. I see some C's. I see some B's. Gary, 76. Bruce is at B. Chad's at B. I see a couple of you at 6. Tom, you're at C, 64%. All right. Let me put it this way to you. Those of you that said B and those of you that said C, absolutely right. B and C are acceptable. They're in that 60 to 70% range. B is kind of pushing it at 76%. Got to be careful on that one. But that is actually the one I did on this trade at 76%. Now, why on this trade can I go 76%? The reason is because options on target were very, very expensive. When options get really expensive, there are trades where I can actually trade at 76%, 80%, 82%. If the options are really expensive, that allows me to do that. So I was able to get this trade off at 140 with a 76% probability. Now, this trade is called a bear call spread. Bear because we expect the stock to go down, bearish. Calls because now we're using calls, and spread because it's two different strike prices. In one transaction, I'm going to sell a $140 call, and I'm going to buy a 145 call as my protection. Now take a look at Target. Target really didn't go down very much. It went from like 131 to like 127. But because of the way we structure the trades with the time decay, we made our profit in 7 trading days. That's a typical trade right there. Stock really didn't go down very much, but we still made our money. Time decay and direction paid our profits. 765 in 7 days. Now, another client I worked with is Jim. He said prior to working with me, he told me his results were very inconsistent. He felt unsatisfied. He kept thinking, there's got to be something else out there that was better. Have you ever felt that way? There's something out there that you're missing. He said he wanted a way to supplement what he was doing would provide more of a regular income with a higher probability of success. Now, after learning the system of being that option seller, he told me he had 21 winners in a row and returned 76% in about 8 months. And his average trade only lasted 8 days. Can you imagine how that must feel where you go from being inconsistent to where, boom, you knock off 21 winners in a row? Now, let me ask you a question. I want to open this up to you. If you were able to implement a system that generated on average 3% per month, kind of like what I showed you at the beginning of 2023, what would that income system like this allow you to do? Type your answer in the chat. What would an extra 3% per month allow you to do in your life? For those of you that are working, maybe retire sooner. Buy a boat? Buy an airplane? Not a jet, by the way. I'm thinking like a, Cessna 172 or something, depending on how much money you have, right? All right. Exactly. Retire early, help my kids with their bills, pay off the house sooner. This is real. Okay? This is based on real results. You've seen it from me, you've seen it from my clients. Now, we said before that buying is gambling and selling is about controlling risk and putting the odds of success in your favor to generate income. The options paycheck system makes sure you have a guaranteed maximum risk. And it all goes back to whether you'd rather be the gambler or the casino. Now, keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. Being an option seller is the way that you can make consistent income and allow you to do it safer and with a higher probability of success than simply buying and selling stocks. It's that simple. Now, I want to put this together and I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system, which you can do in as little as 15 minutes a day. And my students who have implemented this system have told me this is really one of the most important things they learned. Why? Well, one of the biggest things that people ask is how much time is this going to take me? And that's really a great question. Well, here's the challenge. There's thousands of stocks out there. You got to find a way to pick the right stock with the right strategy, know when to get in, what expiration, the price, what to do if it goes against you, when do you get out. And people get overwhelmed, right? It's like, oh my God, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. There's so much information out there. You don't know where to look, what to look at. It's confusing. It takes a lot of time. You spend hours researching your trades, going from guru to guru. Without a system, you're trading blind. Simple as that. You're like a mouse running through maze after maze, bumping into wall after wall. It's stressful, it's disheartening. With the right system, though, you can get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But to get that, you need a system. You need a straight line system, a really simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find your trades, and how to set them up and manage them. So let me walk you through the pieces of the options paycheck system, the order they go in. No one else teaches option selling this way. It's like the secret sauce. There are 6 pieces, and the top 5 build on each other, and then that 6th kind of ties it all together. We start out with market direction. Now, a lot of traders ignore this, and they just go out and they start placing trades. You're going to be placing trades that are either bullish or bearish. So you have to have a way to know the market direction. By doing this, you're focused on one scenario at a time. So you're not looking at all the stocks. I think I'm going to go up. I think I'm going to go down. You're looking at one direction. Now, our options paycheck system has a timing signal built in that we use to tell us the market direction. Now, after you know the market's direction, you're going to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction of the market. Now, just trading the stocks you know or listening to the gurus on TV, this is not the best choice. What you want to do is find good stocks that are already in uptrends when the market's rising, bad stocks that are in downtrends when the market's falling. Our options paycheck system saves a lot of time in 2 ways. We look at 2 main things, fundamentals and price trend. And we have pre-built searches in our VectorVest platform, which we use instead of digging through all the data these institutions throw at you. Now, once you have your list of stocks, you want to find the way to select the best ones for option trading. Earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had. We focus on selling options in the upper end of that volatility range, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out those with upcoming earnings and make sure the expiration date is in the sweet spot. Now, you can use tools from a broker to help. We use a proprietary search tool which finds these candidates in really a matter of seconds. Now it's time to set up your trade. We're going to pick the one that has the highest probability of success. We pick the strike prices that give us the biggest possible credit and are far enough away from the stock's price that you have a very little chance of losing. But we also have to make sure you have the best possible risk to reward ratio. Now, before you place a trade, you need to know what to do if the trade goes for you or against you. You don't want to be sitting in a trade feeling frozen like a deer in the headlights because you don't know what to do. Our options paycheck system has rules to take profits at a predefined level. This can be set up in advance with your broker. And if a trade goes against you, we have a simple adjustment strategy that brings in more income that can minimize losses. We also know when to exit a trade. And I can even set that trade up with my broker so it happens automatically and really unemotional for me. Now, lastly, you want a way to do this quickly. You don't want to be spending all day in the process. So you need a tool that allows you to do these things. It should be something you're comfortable using. Now, some brokers have tools that are fantastic. Thinkorswim's a great tool. Fidelity's a great tool. Schwab has great tools. Tasty Trade has great tools. You might find some paid tools to be very effective. For example, I use our proprietary tool from VectorVest called Options Pro, and that saves me a lot of time. Now, earlier we talked about Mike and we talked about Jim. Each of them is getting the results in about 15 minutes a day. Well, so is Hugh. And he told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that was efficient and worked. He said he wanted to have that proper balance between trading and free time, and he didn't have that proper work-life balance. Are you like that? Do you spend too much time on things you don't want to do and not enough time doing the things that you want? Now that Hugh has learned the options paycheck, he's got more confidence, he has more free time, and he's able to have more fun. He said in his first 43 trades, he had 38 winners and returned over $26,000 in 4 months. So I want you to do this. I want you to take your pen. Put a little star next to the part of your system where you're good at. So for example, if you have a quick way to find a list of stocks likely to go in the direction of the market, put a little star there. If there's an area where something isn't working or you need a little work, put a frowny face. So, for example, if you don't know how to manage, repair, or trade, put a frown there. Don't overthink it. I want you to take about 10 to 15 seconds and give yourself a star or a frown. I'm willing to bet maybe 1 in 100 investors will ever know how to do this. So I want you to share with me in the chat, type, what areas do you need to work on? What areas do you personally need to work on to get together with a good income system? Share some answers with me. All right. Oops, I forgot how to do this. There we go. All but most market direction and stock finder. Now, John, you said you've never traded options at all. That's fine because we can teach you from the ground floor how to do this properly. That's the great part. Ray is management. I see a couple more trade managements coming in there. I see knowing how to enter trades and finding the right stocks. Okay. Here's the good part of this. You now have an area that you can focus on. Okay. But the key is we got to get you stars all the way down because once you do, you will be able to generate income every month and do it in less than 15 minutes a day. So listen, I don't know the exact reason that you came to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few guesses. Maybe you haven't really known what to do and you've been feeling like you're trading blindly. You're bumping into one wall into the next. It's leaving you with inconsistent results. You make some money, then you give it all back on your next trade. Just like Jim did before he learned the options paycheck system. Maybe you've been suffering through loss after loss, and those small losses are just killing your portfolio. Maybe the money coming in isn't exceeding the money going out. Maybe you're just not where you want to be. Today, I showed you the secrets to fixing that. And it's a secret again. I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You saw it's possible to win even if you're wrong. How you can do it with very little risk, even less risk than buying and selling stocks. And you saw the system that's going to help you get consistent income every month. Now, I showed you just a few of the many people who use our system every day so they never have to worry about retirement again. You saw over and over the secret to generating your consistent income is that shift from being the gambler to being the casino. You're now going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows the secrets. That means there's going to be 99 other investors out there who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying options, making all the mistakes we talked about. You can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there who will buy options incorrectly. Let them be the gamblers. Because as long as there's gamblers out there, you may as well be the casino. Remember the old saying, the house always wins in the end? The options paycheck system teaches you how to stack the probability of success in your favor. Just like Brian did. Just like Bruce. Just like Bob. And Jim. And Hugh. And John. So if you're like most people, you're wondering, how do I implement the options paycheck system in my portfolio right now? Well, now you have a choice. Option number one is you can choose to do absolutely nothing and stay right where you are right now. And listen, if you already have enough money to retire and you're not worried about running out of money, then maybe you don't need the paycheck system. But if you'd like to make some extra income every month, that leaves you with two other options. Option number two is you can do it alone. You could try to learn how the option trades work, try to figure out the direction of the market, learn to analyze thousands of stocks, find the best one to trade, hope you pick the right one, manage it correctly. Listen, if you're willing to work hard and spend hours in front of your computer and you're willing to learn by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. Option three is to let us guide you through it. I'll walk you through each piece of the options paycheck system in just a few weeks. You'll have a simple system to follow that doesn't take a lot of time. So, of those three options, ask yourself what's going to be easier for you? There's two types of people. Person number one is someone who dreams about their financial goals, but they never take action or do anything to make it happen. Person number two is someone who's serious about their financial future. You're ready to take action when you see an opportunity in front of you. And since you're dedicated enough to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet you're person number two, and that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on your first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The Options Paycheck Experience is the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using option spreads, even if you've never done this before. The Options Paycheck Experience is the only implementation program of its kind that teaches the secret to generating consistent income with options because we show you exactly how to find, set up, and manage these option spreads. Not just teaching you a bunch of options theory, teaching you to find the trades, find the stocks, how to do it safely, how to do it consistently in any market condition so you never have that fear of running out of money. Now, after going through this experience, you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work along with all the fancy terms so you need no longer have a fear of options. You're going to know clear signals telling you when to trade, bullish or bearish, and even when not to trade. You're going to be able to quickly identify the stocks that are the best candidates for your income trades, and you're going to be using a rule-based approach. And this frees up a ton of time in your life. You're going to be able to set up income trades that can give you a base 70% success rate. And again, even if you've never traded an option before, you're going to have a trade management game plan in place prior to placing the trade. So you know how to handle any situation the market throws at you. You're going to be able to confidently enter and exit trades with your broker like a pro, whether it's your first trade or your 500th trade. You're going to implement a system that allows you to safely and consistently generate income so you can begin to live that lifestyle you want without the fear of running out of money. Now, the course is 8 modules, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. So as you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal. That's a system for consistent income. Now, the first 2 modules, and for those of you that are new, pay attention to these. This is called the Option Income Foundation module. A lot of people try to build a successful income portfolio, but they base that portfolio on a weak foundation of knowledge. We totally understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome you're going to get from Module 1 is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can confidently use them in your trades. You're going to know which terms to pay attention to, which ones to ignore. That way you don't waste time or get frustrated. In Module 2, you're going to learn what a spread is and how it works. You're going to be filled with all the confidence to start building an income system around this powerful new trade. Now that you've constructed that solid foundation of option knowledge, it's time to lay out the step-by-step system to placing income trades that generate your options paychecks. Each step along the way is going to stack probability in your favor, and it reduces risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. Here, you're going to get complete clarity on market trends. So instead of looking at all the possible trades, you're going to narrow your focus. You're going to know whether to place bullish trades or bearish trades, and even when not to trade. After you know the direction of the market, you're going to want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. This is going to stack probability in your favor even more. You're going to hear that a lot, probability. It's our goal. The outcome here is you're going to know how to quickly find the best stocks and indexes that are going to give you the highest probability in your trades. Now that you got your list of stocks, we're going to start narrowing it down to the best option candidates that give you, here it comes again, the highest probability for profits. By using the rules in this module, you're going to make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade and making it so you can make money even if the stock goes nowhere. You're going to continue to stack probability and reduce risk in Module 6 by the way you set up your trade. Here, you're going to make sure your trade has the perfect combination of risk and reward, and you're going to know exactly where to set your strikes. Great trades don't happen by accident. They happen because of careful planning and strategically setting them up correctly right from the start. Now that you got your high probability trade picked out and you're ready to go, in Module 7, you're going to learn how to have your plan in place ahead of time so you know when to exit the trade, not only for profits, but to minimize losses. You're never going to be frozen like a deer in the headlights again. No matter what the market throws at you, you'll know how to react, and that allows you to trade completely stress-free. And now that you got that best stock, you got your low risk, high probability option trade picked out, management plans in place, now it's time to place the trade. This module is going to break down the trade execution phase into simple, repeatable steps that you're going to be able to commit to muscle memory in no time. Now, we've put everything you need into a checklist. That way you never miss a step. When someone's first starting out, it's always comforting having that security blanket to make sure you did everything correctly. Plus, placing trades with your broker can be very intimidating. So in addition to video walkthroughs of several popular brokers, we've also put together some click-by-click directions for the most popular options broker, Schwab's Thinkorswim platform. Now, before we talk about the low price of the course, I want to make this even more low risk for you. We offer a 100% money back guarantee. You can go through the entire course, And if you're not satisfied we taught you how to profit using options, just notify us within a week of finishing the course and you can get all your money back. It's completely no risk. All we ask though is that you give it your best effort. Come to the classes, watch the recordings, do the assignments, because we know if you do, you'll see the results. If you don't do the work, you won't be eligible for that refund. The reason why I have such a tight refund policy is because I only want to attract those who are incredibly excited to jump in, do the work, and get the results. I want to attract serious investors. In order to do that, when I make a tight refund policy like this, I only track those people who are serious about getting those results. And when you do the system, you're going to be learning a system that averages 3% per month. Again, that's 36% per year on average. And remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to do this every week. I received this email from a client of mine who took the course. Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the options paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know my results for the past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade, and so far I've profited on 239 trades out of the 350 that I've taken, a 68% winning rate. I've profited over $100,000 in this time. What's more exciting is that since my knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good risk reward trades, I've profited over $50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over my last 100 trades, and I only take trades with a 2 to 1 or better risk reward. I want to thank you for teaching this very simple but effective system. Now, a couple things about Joe. Joe trades a lot more than I do. Joe in 10 plus months took 350 trades. I only trade about 150 trades a year. So he trades a lot more. That's great. I'm glad he does that. He can do it however he wants. I trade 150 trades a year, about 3 or 4 a week. I've got clients that do 1 trade a week. So this system scales with how much time and effort you want to put in it. What he sent me was awesome. Now, if I told Joe I'd give him 100 grand in exchange for 2,000, do you think he would take that trade? Is that a trade you would do? Well, I'm going to be making you even better offer than you're going to see here in a couple minutes. But before I tell you more about it, I want to reiterate here. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something we should expect to become a millionaire in the next 24 hours. I'm not going to double your money in 30 days. That's not how this works. That's not real. This is serious and requires some effort on your part. So if you're not going to commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. It's for serious people who take their investing seriously and who are willing to put in the time to learn the system. So if you're serious about this and you're ready to do the work and get the results, then the Options Paycheck course is perfect for you. It's step-by-step training to go from option basics to a full, complete income-generating system. Just these training modules alone are worth the price of the course. But we've also put together a couple of great bonuses for you as well. Bonus number 1 is what we call the Mastery Package. The Mastery Package includes module by module mastery sessions. Each week we'll have 2 mastery sessions, one dedicated to each module that's going to help you master the course material. Plus on Friday, I'll have an additional live Q&A. That means you're going to have 3 live sessions each week, giving you plenty of opportunities to ask questions and get help. The Mastery Package also includes a private dedicated email support with me and my team. Additionally, if you don't already have it, we're going to give you access to VectorVest and the Options Pro software that I use to give you the opportunity to test drive some of the best tools on the planet to help you implement this. With the Mastery Package, you're going to have the tools and support you need to master the techniques taught in the course, so you're ready to place your first income trade in the shortest amount of time possible. Now, to help you see and do that, the second bonus is we're going to give you what's called the implementation month. You're actually going to get access to my live trading sessions where I actually did that 37% last year. During those sessions, you're going to watch me find, select, set up, and place options trades in real time. I'll show you how I manage my existing trades each week. This is a huge bonus. You're going to see the paycheck system in action, and you can even follow along on your own account if you want to. I'm also going to hold live office hours twice a week. Together, we're going to walk through the system step by step in real time. Our past students said this is one of their most favorite parts of the course because watching that repetition really helped cement the concepts and the process for them. Now, if you're worried that finding stocks and things might be too much, I'm also going to include this bonus. It's called the SPX Paycheck System. This is where I take the entire course, boil it down to something you can do in as little as 15 minutes a week. 1 trade on 1 ticker symbol, 1 setup rule, 1 profit rule, 1 stop criteria. It's simple, it's easy. My teammate Brian, he taught this to his 14-year-old daughter at the time, and she was able to do the trades. For a lot of my students, this is the only system they use. So as a recap, with today's offer, you're going to get the Complete Options Paycheck Training Program. That includes 8 training modules, the videos, the checklists, the cheat sheets, the quizzes, and more. Plus, you get the bonus mastery package, the implementation month bonus, and the SPX Paycheck System. Total value of that offer is $54.75. So here's the opportunity. I'm going to roll up my sleeves, work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. And if you choose to be one of them, we're going to put together an income system in your portfolio, even if you've never had success with options. So if you want to join me, have me take you by the hand and help you install this option income system in your portfolio, then instead of that $5,000, the early bird price of the course is $12.95. Now, I've got one last bonus for you. You spent about an hour with me today. So here's what I want to do just for you today. If you order before the end of the webinar, instead of paying $12.95, you can get it for $9.95. That means you're going to get the full course, 1-year access to all of the course materials, the mastery package, the implementation month, all for $9.95. Now that $9.95 price will be only for those who register before we finish up today. Once we finish, the price goes back up to $12.95. So to order, all you got to do is go to www.optionspaycheck.com and click the register button. Now, ask yourself, how much is it going to cost you not to do this? How much money are you going to lose out by trying to do this by trial and error? How much potential profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do this on your own? Then ask yourself, how would things be different if you did it and it worked? You know, there's a saying that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you can be sitting under it now enjoying the shade. Do you know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to begin to prepare yourself for retirement and learn to generate income. This could be one of those deciding days in your life. Is it going to be the day you decided to take action and set yourself up for a secure retirement? Or is it going to be the day that you look back on where you squandered an amazing opportunity to create a consistent income stream? I hope you don't regret the decision you make. Don't miss this opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you in our class. So again, go to www.optionspaycheck.com. Get yourself registered now. That $9.95 price is only available while we're live on the webinar. So if you've never taken the Options Paycheck course before and you want the lowest possible price, this is the time. After the webinar, the price will increase to $12.95. Don't wait. I don't want you to miss out. Go to optionspaycheck.com right now. Fill in your details. Now, I want to cover a couple things before we break into the Q&A. I did mention that this is a live course. When are the live sessions? And what happens if you miss a live session? Well, first off, this is our schedule for February. The class actually starts live next week. If you sign up for the course tonight, you are going to get access to all of the course materials except VectorVest and Options Pro. VectorVest and Options Pro will start next week to coincide with the live portion of the course. On Tuesday next week, we have a welcome session just to kind of make sure you know where everything is at for the course, what we expect, what you should expect from us, how to get in contact with us, everything that you need to know to do the course. Then Wednesday, we break right into our first mastery session, Module 1. Thursday, Mastery Module 2. Friday, we have the open Q&A. So we're actually going to have 4 live sessions next week. Well, Ron, I'm busy next week. I can't view these live sessions. Am I not a good candidate for this? No, that's not the case. We record every one of these sessions. You don't have to come to these if you don't want to. You can watch them after they're done. We record them all and post them up to our university site. We have a lot of clients that go through the course without ever actually attending a live session. We try to do 3 live sessions a week because we want to increase the probability that you might be able to make one. Now, I want you to learn 2 modules a week. Through the month of February, you are going to learn 2 modules a week. That's going to open you up for March when we start doing our live implementation. We do on Mondays the SPX trade and stock trades at 2 p.m. Again, if you can't make those live courses, it's not a big deal. I record them all and you can watch them afterwards. Wednesday night at 4:30, I do it office hours. I talk about the trades that we took. I actually look for more trades. And for those of you that work full time, the Wednesday class at 4:30, I'll even show you how to place trades for the next day. That way, when you come home from work and you want to find some trades for the next day, I'll show you how to do it. Friday at noon, we'll look for more trades. We are just going to repeat this process over and over and over again for the month of March. So we make sure that you're ready to do this. Greg said, prior to the course, I struggled with knowing how to protect myself. When the market was moving away from me and I feared if I didn't fix it, I'd lose more of my portfolio than I could afford to lose. After taking the Options Paycheck, I feel better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made a net of $10,200 for my options income trade with 9 winners and only 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend this course. It was well done, very educational, informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity that I'm thankful I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You will make more in the first month than you pay to take the course. I was one of the fence sitters who didn't take this course for a long time when I saw it offered. I lost a lot by not taking the program sooner. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the work that was put into making this training program available. Now, if you're struggling with, Ron, I'm new at options. How much options experience do I really need? 85% of our prior course graduates said you can be successful with little to no prior options experience. Modules 1 and Module 2, we're going to teach you from the ground floor what you need to know to make this successful. Here's just a few more of the clients that we've taught over the past 8 years. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee because I tripled my investment. Frank, after taking the course, I've already had a profit of $7,300. Before the course, it was a crapshoot. Now I believe in the options trades I'm doing. Cam says, I've made the initial investment so many times over. Even though it's a small part of my portfolio, it's probably the most profitable. Jake, I finally found a method of making consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. Here's some more recent examples of our students. Neville said, thanks for a wonderful course where within a short time, you've opened our eyes to many things. Your experience, enthusiasm, and your desire to teach comes through easily. You put a lot of thought in the training manual, already paid for the tuition with a few Delta 35 trades. Daniel said, the options paycheck experience is by far the best course I've ever attended in all my years with VectorVest since '99. You've eliminated my fear of trading options. The manner in which you presented the material is truly outstanding. Ben says, the attention I received for all my email questions was above and beyond what I expected. A lot of my questions were demonstrated in class, which made my learning much easier. Great job. So again, don't miss this opportunity. Get out there, go to www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered, sign up for that $9.95. You got a 30-day money, or you got a money back guarantee. A week after the course, if you don't feel we've done our job, you can get your money back. It's as simple as that. So here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to bring in my colleague, Brian. He's been in the back listening to all of the presentation and answering with questions. I'm going to bring him on, and together we are going to tackle any remaining questions that you have, and he's also going to tell you what to expect next. Brian?
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. Well, great news. We got people who are joining. It's great to see them in the class. And those of you who are in, like Ron said, we'll talk about how to get access in, what to expect next in just a moment. I do see some people who are trying to register right now. So I think the first thing we'll do is just kind of walk you through the process. But John says, hey, I'm on the website. It's showing it's $12.95 right now. You might need to just refresh the page. So John, if you go to www.optionspaycheck.com or just click the link in the chat, you should see a page that looks just like Ron's. So this is for everybody, and you could all do this with me here right now. If you go to optionspaycheck.com, just click the link in the chat, and you're on this page. If you don't see a little timer there that is counting down where it says special price ends in, I'm not sure what's going on. Just refresh the page, and then that way you get the discount. But right where Ron's got his mouse, just click on register today. And there it is. It says $995 webinar special and buy now and save. Now, before I do that, I did want to just point out right below that, there's a whole bunch of testimonials that you could watch. We have 6 of them on this page, but there's a whole nother page of a whole bunch more. You might find that you are exactly like one of those people and say, you know what, I'm in the exact same position as that person and it worked for them. Maybe it'll work for me. And we're very confident it will. And like Ron said, just do the work and you will see the results. But one quick thing, if you go back right where Ron had his mouse a moment ago, if you click on the, so Ron, it showed if you click on that page, you'll see all the other testimonials. So you can read through some of those. There's actually, some of them have videos and you could listen to the person tell you from their own mouth about the course. So if you, back on this page, those of you who are trying to place your order, if you just hit buy now and save, it'll bring you to another page. And on this page, most of you who are on today's webinar already have a VectorVest account, which is great. We will thank you for being here today. If that's the case, all you have to do is click sign in and then put your username and password in that page. And that way the course will go on your personal account. The only time you would need to put in your first name and your last name and your email and your password right down below that is if you are brand new to VectorVest and you do not have an account with us. Basically, you need to create an account by filling in those details there, and then you can create an account, and the course will go on your brand new account. All right, so and then once you place your order, like Ron said, what to expect next, you should get an email from us. Check your inbox, your junk folder, your spam folder, wherever it might be. And if you happen to see it in your junk or spam, just mark it as not spam, because we'll send you a couple emails throughout the course to keep you informed on all those sessions that Ron was talking about, keep you up to date on everything that's going on. But check that email, because that email will also have all the details to access the course. And again, like Ron said, you can get in there and start going through the material right away. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's check out some of the questions that have come in. And if you do have a question, just type it into the chat box and just give us some time. We'll try to get through all the questions that are here. Either we'll answer it verbally here with Ron, or we have a great team in the background who are answering questions throughout the session. John and Todd have been helping you in the chat, so keep an eye on the chat to see if you get an answer there as well. All right, Mr. Wheeler. Okay, so the first thing was you were showing a schedule. People just want to know if you still had that, if you could show it back up on the screen. And while we're there, I know you said this when you were going through it, but since there are a lot of sessions, is it mandatory to go to all of them?
No, definitely not. Like I said, we want to get as many live sessions on the calendar as we can, mainly to hopefully meet your schedule. If you can't make the live session, it's not a big deal. Everything is recorded. They're usually posted within a couple hours after the live session is done on our university site. You could even send us emails and say, hey, Ron, I can't make the session tonight, but can you talk about this for me and answer this question? We'll put it in the questions. We'll answer it live during our presentation. And then when you get home or wherever you're at, watch the recording. You'll see your question answered live. So no, you don't have to attend the live sessions. In fact, probably 20, 30% of our clients who sign up for the Options Paycheck course, they don't come to the live sessions. They just watch the recordings. And that's perfectly fine. You're going to get the same benefit just as well as anybody else. So that's the February schedule. And then this is our March schedule for the live events. And again, everything is recorded and you'll be able to watch them after the live presentations are done.
All right, fantastic. You actually went into Ben's questions. that was going to be the follow-up. But Ben, hopefully that answered your question. Was you were asking how to watch the modules for full-time people. Now, just keep in mind, Ron, the modules are pre-recorded. So you watch the training modules in advance. They're in the coursework. Ron was just talking about the mastery sessions and the implementation month sessions and the coaching sessions. You could, I won't repeat everything that Ron just said, but if you have an additional question, just let us know in the chat. And it looks like you just typed into the chat and you said, yes, it does answer my question. You say, thank you very much. And we say, you're welcome. All right. Let's see. And we do have some people in the chat who have, Ron, since you've been doing this for about 8 years, we have people who have taken the course years ago. So we do have people who have taken the course before. We do have a refresher rate. So those of you who are asking if you've taken this class before, or if you're a member of Ron's coaching group, we do have a discount where you can get it for $495, but that's for people who are either part of Ron's Ultimate Retirement Coaching, or if you are have taken the class before. Typically, if it's been over a year, you could get a refresher at a discount and get involved in all that all over again. Okay, back to you, Mr. Wheeler. This one is in regards to the size of the account that might be necessary. Mm-hmm. So I'll just let you touch on that. Is there a minimum, maximum, ideal size of an account?
Yeah. So the minimum, most brokers are going to require you to open up an account with like $5,000, and $5,000 really, I believe, is the minimum, because based on the way that we teach risk tolerance, that's really the least amount that you're going to want to trade. So yes, you can open up a $5,000 account. So, as I showed you way in the beginning, if you open up a $5,000 account, I mean, in a very short time, in a couple of years, that account's going to be worth some significant dollars. So don't feel like you have to have $100,000 to do this. You don't. Okay. Now, one of the things I also want to tackle is this. A lot of people say, well, Ron, this is so great. Why aren't you trading millions of dollars with this? Because you can't. We as individual investors, we have a lot of great benefits that big institutions don't have. We can trade a lot of things. We can get in and out of these markets very, very easily. So right around the $400,000 to $500,000 mark, this is where you're not going to be able to trade a lot of these option trades because there's just not enough liquidity to get off the amount of contracts you're going to need to do at that level. So, 5 grand, you can open up an account, trade one contract to the SPX every week. $500,000, you can trade a bunch of stuff. I would say that if you're looking for an estimate or a recommendation, if you start with $25,000 or $30,000, that's actually a pretty decent number to start with because you'll be able to trade some indexes, you'll be able to trade some stock trades, you'll be able to kind of diversify out a little bit if you want to. And of course, it's up to you. You can start with as much as you want or as little as you want, depending on how much money you have.
All right. Next up, I'll just quickly remind everybody that the $9.95 rate, as you saw, there's a little countdown timer on that page. When that countdown timer ends, the price will go back up to $12.95. And then registration closes a week from today on January 30th at 10 a.m. And then you won't be able to get in at all, unfortunately. So the $9.95 is good for a little bit. The $12.95 will be good until the 30th. And then registration closes and you won't be able to get in. All right. And the first live session we got to get ready for, that is next Tuesday in the afternoon. All right. So we got to get ready for that and get all of our the students registered for their session. All right. So Ron, with this course, I mean, it's a pretty good investment. You showed a lot of those live sessions, and obviously people can go to those and ask questions, but options might be new to people. What if somebody needs help during the next 8 weeks? How do they get help?
Yeah, no problem. We've got a lot of help set up for everybody. So your first line of help is those live sessions. If you can't get to the live sessions, again, not a big deal. We have a private email for our Options Paycheck students that goes right to me and the Options Paycheck team. We can work with you. We can get you on the phone if need be. We can make sure that your questions are answered. So you can bypass the regular VectorVest support and you just go right to me and my team. So we'll make sure that your questions are answered either in class or even through email. We make sure that we've got, a line of communication out there for you to make sure that you're putting this to work.
All right. I just had two other things. Since I didn't see another question, I'm just going to touch on something that I see in our post-course surveys quite a bit from people who have signed up for the class. We go back and for those of you who don't know, we survey all of our students after the class ends to find out what went well, what we can improve on, what they have if they have any additional questions, of course. But one of the things we do ask is, did you have any hesitations about signing up? And by far the biggest hesitation is always going to be mentioned is the price. So it's $995. So we're just going to answer that now. So Ron, if somebody on this webinar who might be afraid to mention it in the chat, where they're like, oh, I don't know, $995, it's a lot. What would you say to that person who has that hesitation now and they have yet to sign up?
The biggest thing is I'm putting my money where my mouth is with this. That's why we offer you that money back guarantee. So you have essentially a no risk trade. Take the course, put it to work, spend the 2 months with us. I guarantee it's going to be the best 2 months of your trading. You're going to love it. You're going to see what we can do. You're going to love what you see. But you know what? If you don't, we do offer that money back guarantee. Notify us within a week at the end of the course, and you're out nothing at the end of the day.
Okay, Ron. And the last one is, actually, I saw 2 questions come in, and then we'll go to the last thing I was going to have you do. Donald says, how do I access the checklist? About 15 minutes ago or so, I put it into the handouts area of GoToWebinar. So Donald, right above where you typed in that question to us, there should be a section in GoToWebinar that says handouts. You might need to open up that section a little bit. So there might be a little drop down, but you'll see a PDF in there and you can just click on it. And it typically will download into your downloads folder on your computer, and you just have to go get it. All right. And then Of course, in the course, which Ron is going to show you in a little bit, you can see there's a bunch more resources in there, obviously, if you purchase the course. But that checklist that we give you is a great little checklist that you can read through. It's actually a several page PDF that explains a lot of things that Ron talked about in today's session. And then there's a little checklist at the end. Now, Chad says, I'm having trouble signing in. So Chad, just got to give us a little bit more details so our team can help you out, or you could call the phone number that we'll put into the chat for you. One of the biggest things that we hear is that after people order the class or order the course, when they go to the university to access it, it's not there. Typically, you'll just have to sign out and then sign back in and you'll see it. But Chad, just give us a little bit more detail so our team can help you out. Where exactly you're having trouble signing in. While we wait to hear back from Chad, Ron, maybe you could use this time to kind of show everybody what the course looks like if they join it. Like after they register, what are they going to see inside the course?
Sure. So once you get the link to join the course, you're going to go into what's called our university site. And you'll see the options paycheck experience. So in the upper left-hand corner, this is where everything is laid out. So we start up with the let's get started to kind of give you a little video tutorial of what we're going to do, kind of the outline of what we do. The live welcome recording, you'll actually see that posted next week when we actually do the live welcome recording. But most importantly, out of that first section, go to your course curriculum checklist. Print this out. This is important because what this does is it outlines all of the things we want you to do in every module. So module 1, I want you to do the snapshot. I want you to watch lessons 1, 2, 3, and 4, do the review, do the action items, do the review questions. And you're going to see that we have that built for every single module that you're going to do. Now, at the end of this page, you also see the schedule for our live events. So if you ever forget when our live events are, well, here's a schedule for you that you can just print out and you can have ready. So you'll know all the schedule all the way through the end of March. Okay? Now, let me go back up here and I just want to show you module 1. So if you go to the checklist for module 1, here's where module 1 is. Now, as Brian said, all of the modules are open to you right when you sign up the course. You're going to watch the modules on your own. You're going to watch all the lessons on your own. And then questions that you have, you're going to ask us either through email or you come to one of those live sessions we do every week. My preference is you do 2 modules a week. Don't try to overburden and rush through this. There's no race here. Do everything slowly, carefully. Do 2 sessions a week, 2 modules. Now, inside the individual modules, you're going to see the recorded lessons. If I open that up, this is where you're going to watch the snapshot, all the individual lessons. You're going to see the module review and action items. We have action items for every module, and those action items are designed to get you to start either using Options Pro or your broker to start figuring out how you're going to do this. Okay? We have a review question section, so a little quiz, usually 10 to 15 or 10 to 20 questions that just ask you some basic things about the module to make sure you're getting everything. If you don't know what you're doing with the action items, we actually have a walkthrough video that you can use. And we'll walk you through step by step what we want you to do. FAQs, and then finally you'll see the section for where we have our mastery session recording. Now in the mastery session recording, if I open that up right now, you're actually going to see a video there from back in November. That was the last time I did a mastery course for the options paycheck. If you want, you can view that right now. That'll be overwritten next week when we do our session together. You'll see the new one posted there after each live session. So that takes you through all 8 modules. They're all outlined just the same way. Under the 8 modules, you're going to see that bonus module for the SPX trading system. My advice is if you want to focus on the SPX, focus on the 35 delta trade. That's the one that I do, and it's the easiest trade to take. Good history, very good returns. Keep it simple. Do the 35 delta trade, and there's some review questions there. Those Q&A sessions that we have, you're going to find the links to all of the recordings under that. So again, if I open up week number 1, you're going to see a link there already from our class back in November. After next week, next Friday, that'll be overwritten to your class. And that goes through all 8 weeks of the course. Under here are the links to the recordings of our live trading sessions. Again, these are already populated. If you want to go back and say, oh, how did Ron do back in November and December when he was showing this to the students? You can go back and view my live trades. just be aware that, you're going to see a lot of things that you may not understand yet because you haven't gone through the course. Same thing with the credit spread trading. Now, as we get into March, these will all be overwritten with the ones that we do with you. For those of you that want a little bit more help with Options Pro beyond what we do in the course, there's some tutorial videos that you can watch to get yourself more familiarized with the options platform we use. And then right below are broker help videos. Now, during the live implementation, I'm actually going to use Options Pro. I'll show you how we do trades in Thinkorswim, and I'll show you how you do trades in Fidelity. Those are the brokers that I use. I use Options Pro for mine. Options Pro is not a broker. I use Fidelity and I use Thinkorswim. So those are the two brokers you're going to see mainly in the live implementation. But we also have some videos for Ally and Interactive Brokers and also the E-Trade platform. Then right below that, you have your live webinar links. Now, as Brian said, sometimes these links get put in your clutter folder, your spam folder, whatever. So what we want to make sure is that you're never like 10 minutes before one of the live classes, you're like, oh my God, I didn't get a link. I got a call and now I got to wait on the phone, or I got to email and hope that Ron gets back to me. We take that into account. So if you open that live webinar link up, these are all the links you're going to need for the live classes. All you got to do if you don't get the link, just come in here, click on the welcome session, the mastery session, whichever one you're ready for, whichever one is scheduled, and there's your link for the class. That way you don't have to worry about, I don't have the link. And then lastly, under resources, this is where you're going to be able to download all of the materials, like the slides, either in black and white or color, your worksheet, anything that you need to complete the course. And as we get into the later modules, you're going to see things like the stock credit spread checklist, the position sizing worksheet, all that stuff that you're going to need to complete everything. Well, that's a quick tour of the university site that you're going to be using for the next 2 months to complete the course with us.
All right. Great overview of what's in there, Ron. And with that, I think that kind of rounds out the questions that we got. Again, if you have additional questions, we do have a phone number that I put into the chat. It's 888-658-7638. You could talk to a real live human being. We are located in North Carolina in the United States. Just talk to a real person. Just give our team a call. They'd be glad to help you out. Of course, there's still another 20 some odd minutes, right around there, 20 minutes of this where the 995 will be active. So if we happen to get off this call here, which we will in the next minute or so, you could always call in and talk to somebody and they can help you out. All right. So with that, we're excited to begin, and I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Wheeler to wrap up the evening.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you to the rest of the guys in the back answering questions. I appreciate it, and mostly thanks to you. Thank you for spending this 90 minutes with me. I truly appreciate your time, and I hope it was valuable. I hope you learned some great tips to create a good income stream in your trading. As we've said, I've been doing this class now for 8 years. I've taught this to thousands and thousands of people. We have really great success with this. I'm confident that if you come to the class, do the work, do the effort, you're going to be able to achieve that success as well. So thank you once again. For those of you that are signed up, awesome. I'm glad to work with you. I'll see you guys next week in our live welcome session and all the sessions. You're going to have a great experience over the next 2 months. We're going to put together the system in your portfolio and show you how to do this right. So on behalf of all of us, thanks all for attending. Hope to see you in our live sessions, and best of success to you in 2024. Take care, everybody, and have a great evening.